Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Kara, and whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another one today. I am so excited because today I am reviewing actually and playing with a palette that I've had for months, y'all. You clicked on it. It is the Undergrowth palette by Cosmic Brushes. Y'all, I'm so excited to share this palette with you and show y'all some 5-minute looks. So if that sounds good to you, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think, and if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with those who feel the same way, definitely consider joining the community because I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So how are you? I'm fantastic. It is Friday. Y'all, we got some weather coming next week, hopefully on the 11th. That is my birthday. Y'all, I am really excited. First of all, let me know how you're doing in the comment section or the chat, whichever you prefer. I cannot tell you the last time that I have reviewed an eyeshadow palette. I don't like to say review, but played with an eyeshadow palette on camera. I really just started to lose my love for it. I'm not sure why, but I did. And I think there's a couple reasons. One, at one point I was getting so many palettes in that it felt not fun. It felt like I had to play with the palette. I had to do the videos. Number two, the looks were just taking me too long when I was trying to talk through them. And I still will be talking through these, but we are going to be more into ease. And I have told y'all so many times, I'm looking for a life of ease. And when I do my makeup, I really only have maybe 15 minutes max to do it. And I was like, you know, maybe people need to see that you can pull off some looks in like 5 minutes. So I'm gonna be doing 3 looks with this palette. The third look, I'm actually going to time, so I'm not gonna cut anything out. The other 2, I'm just gonna voice over and let you know the shades that I use, but I'm happy with this format. Well, I think I'm gonna be happy with this format. I don't know, I have to see what happens when I edit it, but I've been looking for a new way to play with eyeshadows, but it just not be so formal. And what I was realizing is that when I was doing my makeup off camera, I was really loving the looks, and I'm like, damn, I should have filmed that. I wanna share that. But it like took me maybe like 2 minutes to create. So I just feel like, I don't know, maybe this will be a new vibe. We will see. You can give me feedback and let me know what your thoughts are. But now we are gonna get into this palette. I was not going to get this palette because I do have other palettes with this color story, and I will be sharing them after I do the 3 looks. Then it was one of those middle of the night shopping things, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I do like Cosmic Brushes as an indie brand. Last year when I did my priority brands video, I did have Cosmic Brushes on the list, and that started because I really liked their Wonderland palette. Yes, the Wonderland one, the snowy one. And it was a big shock for me because those are not colors that I typically gravitate towards, and I don't, because I did not use that palette this winter. But when I did use the palette, I really liked it. I like the formula that Cosmic Brushes has. I don't know if it's anything that's unique, but what I will say is their pricing is unique. This palette is $36, and you can use the code RADAR10. The shipping is a little pricey. I think this shipping might be $14, but even with that shipping, and it comes from overseas, it is still cheaper than a lot of the indie palettes that I am seeing come out lately. I did not get the new Lovers palette by Cosmic Brushes. I am cutting back on eyeshadow palettes, but I held on to this for a while because I wasn't sure, like, did I want to use it or not? And I'm like, no, I really do. So let's go ahead and look at the palette. I already told you that it is $36. It has a 24-month shelf life. I don't see anything about this being vegan or cruelty-free, but I feel like they are. Vegan and cruelty-free, vegan and cruelty-free. Okay, so that's good to know. I just didn't see the little symbols on the back of the palette, but it is on their website. Let's get into the description of the palette. I will show you the swatches while I'm talking about it. This is a 20 pan pressed pigment and eyeshadow palette with the most grungy, murky, and dirtiest of undertones inspired by nature's undergrowth. 12 soft mattes and 8 dazzling shimmers with a range of finishes and textures. This palette contains 3 shifty shades. 2 of those are multi-chromes and 1 a dual chrome. So this is my color story. It is right on my alley. It is grungy, is earthy. It is just gorgeous. So I'm gonna get into 3 looks, and then I'm gonna come back and show you some other palettes in my collection that you might have. If you wanna do some of these looks, you can dupe the vibes. You don't have to purchase this palette. You may already have something in your collection because that's what we're about these days. So let's get to the looks and I'll be right back. So first I am going to go into the shade Algae, and I'm taking that all over the lid with a fluffy blending brush. Next, I'm going into this shade Murky, and I'm taking Murky on the outer corner just to give it a little more depth over on the outer corner. And I like it. Next, I'm going into this shade Undergrowth, which, yes, I'm just tapping that in with a finger. I didn't use any type of glitter glue or anything like that. Taking a pencil brush and going back into Algae. I'm just sweeping that underneath the lash line. And then I'm going into this shade Herbarium, and I'm using that for the inner corner highlight. Doing my mascara, and there is look number 1, y'all. Let me know what you think. All right, y'all, for this one, I'm going into this shade Roots, and I'm using a fluffy blending brush. I'm trying to do the outer corner and the inner corner, but I think I'm going to be changing my mind. I can't remember. But I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. Now I'm taking another brush and going into the shade Clay. And now I've decided to put that on the inner corner just to give a different look. Oh, and the outer corner as well. Now I'm going into the shade Clay again, and I'm sweeping that underneath the lower lash line. Going into the shade Fireflies, very beautiful. And I am tapping that in that center space. And I don't even know what you're trying to do here, sir. Goodbye, there's no sound. Going into the shade Reeds, and I'm using that for the inner corner. Got my mascara, Grande Lash. And that, my friends, is look number 2. Let me know what you think. Okay. That face is scary. All right, y'all, I'm going to be talking through this last look, and let's just see how long it really takes. Hopefully it does take 5 minutes, because that's the point of the video. Easy, quick looks. This will be look number 3 with our Undergrowth palette. I was thinking we were going to have a delay because everybody else has one. And honestly, we don't need a delay, but we didn't get one. And
we finally have to.
That's true. August school has the delay. Me and Marky don't. Unfortunately, that's sad. Okay. What a predicament. Because there's only like 2 trajectories of looks you can do with this. We are not starting the timer yet until I know where I'm going with this. I'm feeling brown. So, you know, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to do Roots. I think I used that shade in the last look. So, all right, 7:25. Let's see how quick we can get this look done. And I don't want to edit it out. Roots is going all over the lid. We can really see how long these looks take. Plus I need to be out of here by like, I can push it to 7:45, but I really don't want to do that. 7:40 would be ideal. And I have everything else ready. Man, I think I left my mascara over there.
Mama is looking dry.
Going into, what'd you say? Sludge. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Subscribe to Jesser.
Stop.
You spell Jesser.
Make sure you wash your face.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cut any of the, I'm not gonna edit anything or speed it up. So this is sludge. It's giving a little bit of depth and some warmth to that outer corner. I'm gonna go back into roots for the lower lash line. That's why I'm thinking about it.
Am I going to
Aftercare? No.
No. What's it?
Oh, I didn't know what you was gonna say. 727. Let's go into, no, let's go into Boggy. Let's do Boggy. Boggy's pretty. I don't think I use that. Maybe Uggs is doing the most. That's per usual. And we're gonna do an inner corner wing. Let's do the shade Vegetation. And I'm gonna get my mascara on, 728. I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Panorama mascara because I do not have my Grande lash. It's on the other side. Haven't used this in a while. There's our look. 4 minutes. That is awesome. I love this one. This one and the first one, I think, are my favorites. The last look, it was nice, but I was tired of it by the end of the day. I didn't like that one as much, but that's how it is sometimes. I hope my mic is on. That would be real sad if it's not. I feel like it's not on. Oh, it is on. Oh, thank God. Okay, y'all. So a later me is gonna come back with my final thoughts and then some other eyeshadow palettes in my collection that have this kind of earthy color story. If you want to go ahead and try to dupe the vibes and not purchase a new palette, because you know, that's what we're all about right now, not purchasing things where we have the same shades. So I'm gonna come back and do that right now in a flash. Okay, let me know what you think about that format because I'm trying, y'all. Like, I still realize that I love eyeshadow and I love makeup, but my time is so limited. But I'm really trying to get into this collection and I want to be an asset and I want to be helpful. And I know a lot of us are busy. We don't have a lot of time to be blend, blend, blend. No, we don't have time for that. So I just wanted to show you how fast I typically do my eyeshadow looks on a regular basis. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 palettes that I think would embody the same color story as Undergrowth. If you passed on this palette, there might be a reason why. You might have a palette in your collection already. And if you're looking to purchase this palette, you might have one of these and realize like, hey, I can still get the same look. So the first palette that I'm gonna show you is the Nomad Okavango Safari palette. This was a really good one. And these palettes are not going to be exact. They are going to be palettes where you can dupe the vibes of the looks that I did. Now the shimmers are going to be a little bit more potent, a little more pigmented. I want to say pigmented. I would say the shimmers in the Cosmic Brushes palette, they're really smooth. Some of them are shifty, where you're not gonna be getting the shifts in the Nomad palette. You're gonna get more metallics, but still very, very high quality shimmers and mattes. You can dupe the vibes of the looks that I did with the Undergrowth palette. And if you have any of these, please let me know. Palette number 2 is from my girl Natasha. One of my favorites is the Yucca palette. Again, a very, very similar color story, very earthy and beautiful. You are not gonna get the duochrome, dazzling duochromes that are in the Undergrowth palette, but you can still get a very similar look if you're not trying to add palettes to your collection. Because right now I'm really like, I can't. First of all, I'm on 1 in 1 out with palettes. I'm still in the middle of my eyeshadow palette declutter. Then the 1 in 1 out will start, but I'm still decluttering palettes because it's just too much. Now I'm always gonna have too many palettes. That's the bottom line. So you really gonna have to be special to get up in this VIP section of eyeshadow palettes. Next, I have the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. Yeah, I think you can dupe the vibes if you can see past all the shades that don't dupe the vibes. You still have a lot of earthy greens and golds and browns where you can get these murky looks. And that's why this palette is so great. And I really do think, Natasha, you need to go ahead and come out with some more palettes in this format, because you just should. You just should. My next palette is going to be the Croc palette. This is the first palette that I really, well, actually no. Okay, this is probably the oldest one, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But the Croc palette really has that nice earthy tone as well. No, you got a gold right here. This palette is so good, y'all. I don't know if this palette is still available, but now I would say the shimmers in Croc are comparable to the shimmers in the Cosmic Brushes palette. It's gonna be those indie, high shine, high foil, pigmented shimmers. They do shimmer so well, clarity. So Croc palette, if you have that, that's one of their best palettes, I have to say. The last 2 palettes I have are from Melt. Don't do it, because y'all know Melt is one of my favorite brands, and we're gonna start with Gemini, because the next one everybody's gonna be like, All right, so Gemini has a very earthy color story as well. This black, no, actually the Undergrowth has a very similar shade. So you can do the same type of look. Now there's only 2 shimmers in here. I will let you know these are very nice Melt shimmers, but they are not the same as the Undergrowth palette. But again, sometimes it's just scratching the itch, and then you realize you don't need to buy the palette. You're just scratching the itch and getting the look. And sometimes that's good enough. Sometimes it's not, but sometimes it is. And last but not least, I know nobody wants to hear about it, but this is 420 from Melt. And I think this has a very similar color story. Yes. Now, oh gosh, no, hold on. Now, here's the deal. I will say this. My 420 palette looks a little bit different because this shade, I think, was a very deep green, and that shadow was horrible. And I had to just scrape it out because I just wasn't gonna be able to do that. And I put something else in there, and I put something else in here. So my 420 palette looks a little bit different, but it still gives the vibes. And I know there's some people that didn't have an issue with 420. So if you're one of those people, you definitely have the color story of most of these palettes with 420. And yeah, Melt be onto stuff. They just, I could do a whole video about Melt. But yeah, 420 also dupes those vibes. The shimmers are not going to be, you know, the shimmers are not going to be like Undergrowth. So if you're looking for those really indie duochrome type shades, I mean, this palette really might be worth it for you because the quality is fantastic. Like, their quality is really good. And I'm trying to think of what brand their formula reminds me of. And I'm not sure because it's not Unearthly. It's not Adept. It's not Fantasy Cosmetica. It's not like a Terra Moons or anything like that. I'm not sure. There's got to be a brand that's similar. Let me know if you think the Cosmic Brushes formula is similar to another indie formula, but I'm having trouble thinking of it. I really like the smoothness of their shimmers. I think that's great. You know what? This almost feels like a Divina. No, a little bit. A Divina Aurora Flare. That's the closest thing I can think of, but the Divina Aurora Flares are even silkier than these, but their shimmers are they're silky, and especially like I would put them on my priority brands list, but I just know I'm not going to be buying eyeshadow palettes. It's very a very tight-knit community in my priority brands right now, but I mean, they're right there, and this almost makes me want to reconsider it because the formula is so good. And I have one palette by them I haven't even used, the Muse palette. I know I need to bring that out. That'd be perfect for Valentine's Day. I've used Serenity once. I've done a few looks with the Wonderland palette, so I'm not disappointed. I highly recommend this brand if you're looking for an earthy color story and you don't have any of the other ones that I mentioned. I think you would really like this one. Yeah, y'all, that's Undergrowth. And I know it took me just a zillion years to use this palette, but I'm happy I have this in my collection and that I used it. I think out of the looks, the first look, like that acid green, and then the third look, the second look was great too, but the third look was really nice as well. All right, well, that's gonna be it for this video. So let me know if you have Undergrowth. Let me know what you think about this little bit different format. It just is gonna allow me to edit the videos a little bit faster and do a little bit more. And I like that I am using the eyeshadows in a realistic way for a realistic situation, which is me getting ready and going to work. So that's gonna be it. Thank y'all so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another one today. I hope this was therapy for you. You know it always is for me. And until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself, talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and you know I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Go on, blow up your ear.